Hi, we're Gene Online, your premier biotech reporting agency. Today, we are joined with Minami-san. So, if we go right into it, Minami, would you like to just give us a bit of introduction about yourself?
Yeah, so thank you for inviting me to this opportunity here today. My name is Minami. I'm the president of Rakuten Medical. I've been with the company for more than about 8 years now. Since the very beginning of when we started up the kind of the Asian operation.
Yes.
I was also globally the number 30 employee. So very new, I was one of the starting up members of the company. Prior to that, I was working for the Ministry of Health.
Yes.
Prime Minister's office. I was also a consultant at McKinsey & Company.
That sounds really interesting. I mean, we can really see how you've transitioned from public service roles through Japan's Ministry of Health, and the Prime Minister's office, through to international policy in Johannesburg, and now this transition into your role at a leading global biotech. So given this wealth of experience that you have, can you perhaps share a bit of your vision of what brought you to Rakuten?
Sure. I mean, I always want to make the society better. That's how, I think about it. Like in McKinsey, you're making the company better, you're making the government, the country better.
Yes.
One doesn't work for the ministry, that's of course, how can I make Japan a better place? It was the same for me for Rakuten Medical when I joined. When I was in Ministry of Health, you look at the figures of cancer treatment.
Yes.
You're always spending 10 or 15% more than what you were spending last year as the government. And this is not sustainable.
No.
And you're getting, maybe you're prolonging your overall survival. You're prolonging your survival. You're not really curing, but you're spending a lot of money on it. And I thought there will be a time that, this is not going to work out.
That's true.
So, I was always trying to find a way to really kind of change this situation. And it happened to be that, they had a very interesting technology. I met Miki Mikitani, who's our CEO, when I was in Ministry of Health, and, he approached me with this new technology, and I was very surprised. It's very new. It's probably challenging, but I thought it was going to be worthwhile for me to spend time trying to get this into society.
Definitely. Yeah. So just looking at these milestones, how do you think they reflect on your long-term vision now currently?
So I'll take a little bit of a step back. So we're approved in Japan. We've been approved for more than 4 years now.
Okay, good.
We've treated more than 1,000 cases in Japan. There's been a lot of presentation about our real-world data very recently, and we continue to see good data. Response rate being about 70-80%, with a complete response rate of ranging from 20 to 40%. For cancers like nasopharyngeal cancer, which is very prevalent in Southeast Asia, as well as Taiwan, of course, we saw a complete response rate of about 70 to 80%, which is a fantastic data that we've seen. So I'm quite confident about the data that we're getting from Japan. So I know it works.
Yes.
So it should work globally. So, we're trying to position this year, kind of trying to expand into countries like US, countries like Taiwan, countries in Southeast Asia, so that, we're leveraging all the experience that we had in Japan to kind of spin that out to other markets. So
I think that's a really, integrative approach that the company is having in terms of globalization of it. So, turning to the lead asset, the star of the show, ASP 1929, this is a revolutionary photoimmunotherapy. And as we know, in the world, head and neck cancer is particularly prevalent, but more so in Asia-Pacific regions. So how is it that the asset ASP 1929 is positioned to change that current standard and that landscape for patients?
So, based on our platform, which we call it Alluminox platform, is also known as photoimmunotherapy, we want to change the paradigms of the cancer treatment. We want to make sure, the patients are really, giving up their quality of life to fight against cancer. And we don't want to do that.
No.
So we want to make sure we're maintaining quality of life while we treat the cancer.
Excellent.
And you said it, head and neck is very challenging. Not many people know, but head and neck cancer patients, they actually have the suicide rate. And that is very devastating, because once you receive surgery, once you receive radiation, you may lose your ability to eat or drink, smell, eat. This is all associated with your life.
Yes.
If there's a cancer on your face, then your appearance could change, which is also devastating. So there's a lot of challenge associated with it. So this was the first indication that we wanted to go for, really to change the the life of these patients. So, we see a lot of cases in Japan now where patients who may have hyperpharyngeal cancer, laryngeal cancers, where traditionally you would have to go through a total laryngectomy. So what that means is you're going to take your voice box out. So you're not going to be able to speak. We're trying to change that. So what we're seeing now is we're seeing a growing number of treatments, patients and doctors using our treatment for those type of cancers. We're controlling cancers, and we're at the same time allowing the patient to have the function to speak.
Absolutely. I think, that's a very important fact that you're saying, is when a patient's quality of life is impacted to such a devastating degree, these are the outcomes of the treatment are not always fully considered. I think a lot of the approaches are based on, can we do the treatment, can we cure the patient, can we solve the problem, but what do they have to live with as a result of that? And so, for this immunotherapy, photoimmunotherapy, to then address those challenges, what kind of technology makes it so unique that it's able to do that non-surgically, non-invasively?
Right. It's a drug and device combination.
Yes.
In the drug part, the key component is what we call it IR700. That is a light activatable dye. The light activatable dye is attached to an antibody, so that the antibody would carry the IR7 specifically to tumor cells, which we would then illuminate using a red light. It's a 690 nanometer red light. That would trigger the reaction of the drug. That would break the cell membrane, causing the cancer cell to become necrotic. And then releasing the antigens, activating the immune system. So what we're really trying to do here with this technology is, with this technology, we're able to really selectively and rapidly kill cancer cells. At the same time, we're able to, we don't touch the healthy tissues. We're not damaging those healthy tissues. So that's the biggest characteristic of our treatment.
What would you consider being the regulatory status of the asset, and what are your next steps in bringing it to local patients? Considering that it's available in Japan, how would you then make those next steps available to get the treatment out there to patients, such as in Taiwan?
Sure. We want to bring this to patients as fast as possible, of course.
That's the key, yes. That's
why we signed a partnership with the OEP. We're in discussion with the OEP how to bring this fast into the market in Taiwan. We'll try to make this available to patients in Taiwan as fast as possible. And in fact, we're running our global phase 3 trial also in Taiwan. The enrollment speed that we're getting in Taiwan is phenomenal. We have doctors who are very interested, who are energetic about our treatment. It's not only the head and neck surgeons, it's also the oral surgeons, so the dentists, who are also interested in taking part in this trial. So this dynamism that I'm seeing in Taiwan is really amazing.
It is well known that it's also being established for additional sites such as the Ukraine, Poland, US. How are those tying in with the goal of trying to get that therapy out, and what are some of the challenges that are faced with that?
I mean, we're running a global phase 3 trial in order for us to get the global approval, especially in the US, where it's the biggest market as well.
Yes.
So we're planning to complete the enrollment by end of 2027, hopefully getting the approval by end of 2028, early 2029. So, US, Japan, Taiwan, we started with these 3 countries, but now we have plans going into Eastern Europe. That's including countries like Poland and Ukraine, as you mentioned.
Yes.
And hopefully to other regions as well, so that, we can continue to accelerate the enrollment of this phase 3 trial.
Since the technology is so novel, so new, how would you say that was received, given all of the advantages that this non-invasive, non-surgical photoimmunotherapy then does bring to the fore?
I mean, I think we're doing great now, but to be very honest, it's always challenging first. Innovation doesn't always come with implementation. You can have an innovation, but you need people to use it. You need to convince people to use this. And this is a big dream for us, that we want to make this a 5th pillar of cancer treatment. It's a big dream that we have. We're not just talking about head and neck. We're talking something beyond head and neck as well.
So just taking a look at what you were saying about innovation doesn't mean implementation. In that sense, there seems to be a wave of success behind the product. But what is it that you're looking for in terms of, perhaps market access in the industry and in different countries for that rollout?
I mean, I think region-wise, we're expanding with, a lot of the partnership discussion going. We have a partner in Middle East and North Africa region as well with a company called Hikma, which is one of the largest pharmaceutical company in the region. Now we have a partnership with OAP. We're planning to have a little bit more to kind of go into different regions. But that's more on the geography side. We at the same time want to make sure we're going to be expanding our indications beyond head and neck. So we're really working with doctors across the globe, and we've got a trial, an early phase trial, of course, in esophagus, gastric, gynecological. These are also related to quality of life. And then we also have second molecule and third molecule that are targeting different indications and different targets. Second molecule is targeting the regular T cells. That's targeting more the immune system. And then the third molecule is with the PD-L1. It's all under the same platform. So we want to make sure we have all this in place, and we have a kind of a lined up of drug as well as the devices so that we can treat every type of solid cancers.
How do you think this next wave of development will then fit into Rakuten Medical's broader platform strategy?
Right. I mean, we want to make sure we have all the drugs lined up for different types of solid tumors. I mean, we've got EGFR, which is HB9020, CD25, that's the RN9095. We got the RN0256 that's using PD-L1s. We have a lot of assets in preclinical setting as well. We have HER2 that could be used for breast, MUC1, bladder, PSMA that could be used for prostate cancers. So all these are lined up. So, we're getting this ready as long, and then once we get all the fundings and the business, we'll be ready to put that in the clinic. Our goal is really to target all types of solid cancers. So we want to make sure we have all this lined up. And then on the device side, we actually already have an R&D capability and a manufacturing capability to do this device. We acquired a company in Switzerland who is specialized in this type of illumination devices. So we now have that capability. So we're really set to go to really change the paradigm of cancer treatment.
Definitely. It sounds like there is a really strong global backing, behind the development of Rakuten Medical, as well as this specific asset and others across the board. So can you share more about who's supporting you how these partnerships are really driving the long-term growth of the company, of the asset, of the platform?
I mean, the biggest investor of our company is Miki Mikitani, who is the founder of Rakuten. He's been supporting this project for about more than 10 years now. It was really to do with his father. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and he came across this technology that he felt is going to be changing the world. And that was that from then on, he's been continuing to support our project, and he's also our CEO, as a matter of fact. And then of course we have Rakuten Group. They invest about 20% into our company, but then we also have a growing number of institutional investors lining up now. As you said, we have SBI from Japan, and we have also Mizuho Bank, who participated in our last round. We also have Daiichi Insurance. These are all institutional investors that we're having from Japan. Now we're also in another round of financing at this point, and we're getting a lot of interest from investors in US and Taiwan. So hopefully, I would say the mix of investors are going to be very global in this financing round, where I would assume that I would be having about 20-30% from Taiwan, 20-30% from US, and 20-30% from Japan. So we have a very good investor background now, so that I think we're ready to succeed globally.
So just some end notes on that. What do you think lies ahead? What is the pipeline and the growth? We have touched about a lot of the developments happening in terms of the asset itself, the platform itself, other clinical trials and preclinical stages of R&D. But what would you say in general would be the go-to of Rakuten Medical when we look at it for future growth?
Right. I mean, our mission is to conquer cancer. I'm hoping we're going to be able to conquer cancer.
Well, I think given what you are doing, 5-10 years does seem very, very achievable. And, again, just to make sure that you've really gotten across the whole message, I think Rakuten has a lot to offer with this in terms of actually taking a big step towards conquering cancer,
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
5-10 years, and especially since this is such a novel platform. You know, there's a lot of promise that is to be held there. So just any parting thoughts that you would have, you know, for the audience in terms of the goal, achievement, last minute messages.
I think we're one of the very few companies that are at the very late stage. We have an asset that is already approved in Japan with a proven real-world data. That is very differentiated from other biotechs. And we have a global phase 3 running for a global expansion. So, you know, I think, as you said, we have a very good foundation to conquer cancer. So
we have a lot of potential and promise to look forward to in the future. So again, we can't wait to follow up and hear more of it. But it has been such a privilege just having the discussion and learning more about everything that is being developed and what Rakuten Medical is standing for. And know that Gene Online definitely is rooting for you to conquer cancer. In 5 years, make it 2. No, I'm joking, but in 5 years.
We'll try our best.
As you are. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was really good.
Thank you so much.